National Conference of Indigenous People in Dimapur in the month of January this year. And we had planned last year. But very unfortunately, because of the COVID pandemic and then a new protocol of medical certificates being required to come into Nagaland, we had to postpone the annual general body meeting of the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum and the National Conference of Indigenous Peoples Conference in Dimapur. Finally, we have resolved to organize the National Conference on 30th of April and annual general body meeting of the Indigenous Peoples Forum on 29th. Before that, we had an agenda of the communal harmony, peace and tranquility as an agenda, including interstate boundary and community boundaries in that conference. And since that conference could not be held in the month of January, we will be having this in the month of April very soon. And recently in our meeting, the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum, I have been assigned as the convener and the spokesperson of the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum. We had a virtual meeting last week, and we decided that we should have a goodwill visit to all the states barring Sikkim, because Sikkim is yet to be a part of our membership. So from Arunachal, beginning from Arunachal to Tripura, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, and what else? All the 7 states we are members. So we have finally come to a conclusion that we will visit all the states before the conduct of the national conference on 30th and the annual general body meeting on 29th. To appeal to all the communities as indigenous people of the region. And we have just drafted a small, not a memorandum, but a small appeal. So I will take the privilege of reading this out, because maybe I might not be able to say it. So this is the formal thing that we are conveying to all the people of all the states throughout the region for the indigenous people. And for this particular visit, we have just drafted the Northeast Indigenous. Sorry.
Can you please introduce your?
Oh, sorry. I will introduce my team. Oh, sorry. First, Mr. Holiram from Assam, Mr. Kyoto, Dr. Lima, Alice, Ariba, and Kangri. And he is just one of our companions who have helped to guide us to this place for Dr. Lima. This is just what we will be sharing to all the state concerns, all our state chapters, that this is our feelings of the Northeast Indigenous people. And as a convener, I had brought this goodwill message with my team and the team of the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum. The Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum with the Nagaland Indigenous Peoples Forum is on a goodwill mission. The forum, having representation from the northeastern region, is here to make a fervent appeal to all the communities of the region for peaceful and harmonious coexistence. The forum also would like to emphasize that there is a great significance of an inherent socio-cultural and interdependent socio-economic relationship among different communities, which are vastly and sparsely spread out in the region of the northeastern states. The forum is also here to share the concerns of all the affected indigenous people in remote areas owing to any intervention on communication systems. The geographical terrain and the livelihood of the people are paramount for the indigenous people of all the communities of the northeastern region. And lastly, on behalf of the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum, would like to appeal all the communities in the region, if there is any way to minimize human suffering, and on the humanitarian ground, we would like to appeal all the communities to minimize human tragedy and suffering. This is our appeal on behalf of the forum. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Once again, thank you for giving us the chance to interact with you and share our views with you. As said by two speakers already, what the NEIPF stands for in Northeast. We are comprising from 7 states except Sikkim, and hopefully we also pray in the later time that Sikkim will also join this forum. Every state has got its own chapter, like Nagaland has got NIPF, Nagaland Indigenous People Forum, and we nominate 2 to 3 advisors from the state, and we go out to the NEIPF, to the state level. So, last 4 or 5 years we've been working to bring peace and harmony among the indigenous people of all the 7 states. And wherever there are some issues, we try to appeal to the parties concerned so that things are settled amicably and peacefully. As we desire that all the indigenous people of all the 7 states to live in peace and harmony. Our General Secretary is Mr. Anup Chetia. He is former from the UNFA, General Secretary, UNFA. And our NEIPF is also under the umbrella of United Nations. Every year we celebrate International Indigenous Day also. So not only in Nagaland and India, but all the indigenous people are covered from South America, North America, and all Asian countries in Africa. So it is a big organization, and we are all privileged to be part of this forum, so that we bring once again the peace and tranquility among all our indigenous people and fight for their rights and give them the rights what they deserve in wherever and whichever state they are, especially in the Northeast. We have come today to appeal. If there are some certain issues, we pray that and we appeal that things can be solved peacefully, with understanding and amicably. So we come to the appeal to our Sapo brothers, and it's how we discuss and bring the solution in the best way. As said by our spokesperson also, a lot of people are suffering today, here and there, that side and here. So I think we need to, as a human being, we need to consider the humanitarian problem that is prevailing. Thank you once again for giving me time. Thank you.
Outline about today's agitation, I would like to say 1 or 2 words here. Actually, this land dispute between Mau and the Southern Angami people has been prolonged for the last 30 years. Very least recently, things have developed up to today's stage. Here, as a Naga, or as a tribal people, we all have a traditional law and a traditional property that owns to us from time immemorial. Today, actually, the problem of Kezolsa is, this Kezolsa is our ancestral land, inherited to us since time immemorial. It may be geographically lies under Manipur state boundary, but the arbitrarily drawn state boundary cannot claim to be the owner of this very present issue. We also honor the territorial boundary of Manipur, but see, lots of Mau's land, the land of Mau's lies within the territorial state of under Nagaland. But still we honor and acknowledge their ownership, though it lies within Nagaland, which they are still, we owner that they are still land owner. So this is this thing. This is why to keep this honor and to solve these things in a traditional way, the organization like Tinibe Public Organization and then the Southern Angami Public Organization, Mao Council and Maram Kulen has submitted a joint memorandum to Manipur Chief Minister to maintain a status quo before solving this issue. But violating all that, disregarding all this memorandum submitted to Manipur Chief Minister, the government of Manipur has deployed its security forces, enforce 144 section CRPC, and start building permanent structure within the Kazolsa, which we claim that we are the owner, and traditionally it belongs to us. So this is why we have started this band, because we also wanted to show to the Manipur government that this is our land and we will not part even an inch with it. So the band have started to show our anger over the actions of Manipur government. We have started this. These are some few very broad outlines that I have given. In later part, I will also ask some of my other colleague friends to also share something with you. And if you have also some particular questions that you would like to ask, we can have a free discussion on this.
The appeal that is made to the Southern Angami Public Organization, we fully understand your positions and we congratulate you for trying to bring peace and harmony in our landlocked northeastern states. Maybe this is a beginning for all of you. Later part, some of us may even join you in order to bring peace, harmony to our state so that we can also develop, we can also catch up the rest of the country. The purpose of your visit is, I think, your appeal, just your appeal. But taking this opportunity, we would also like to let you know the gist of the history that has come to the ultimate action of the ban that is being called by Sapo. Southern Angami people fully understand that national highway crossing our area is the lifeline of our Manipur state, where many of our friends, many of my tribal friends, and also Métis are living. We fully understand that. And Sapo, on its part, have been trying its best not to block or not to hinder, give any hindrance to the transportations, to the movements of our brothers in the other state. Let me also tell you that Southern Angami Public Organization and Southern Angami Youth Organization have been trying to felicitate on many occasions in trying to help our people's free movement in this part of the country. In fact, our terrain is such, as my friend Ibungo Chopi has mentioned, we have a very bad terrain. During rainy season, monsoon season, there'll be road blockage, there'll be accidents, there'll be so many problems along this road. The Southern Angami Public Organization and the Youth Organization, we go all out in helping our people. On record, I want to tell you that we have been trying to do this and we still continue. We will continue to do that. Now coming to this very problem for which we have called a ban. Our Honorable President Sapo had already mentioned about the history. What I wanted to tell you is this case, the case of this disputed area,
has started way back in 1985. It is now 37 years. We had problem. In the midst of this trying to settle the case, we have had many committees coming into play in order to coexist. Because, as the saying goes, we cannot select our neighbors. Manipur is going to be our neighbors. We are going to be neighbor to Manipur. We cannot select that, our neighbors. So, we have been trying to solve this particular problem, that this disputed area, for many, many years. In fact, we have set up a judiciary board set up by the Tenyimye People's Organization, which failed after trying to adjudicate for 4 or 5 years because of so many problems. And I want to let you also know that this Tenyimye People's Organization comprises of 10 tribes, 5 tribes from Manipur, and another 5 tribes from Nagaland. So, since this problem is in between the two, involving 2 states, people from Manipur are Maos and Marams. And Angami Sapo happen to be in the state of Nagaland. That is how this TPO has to come into play, because we are not talking about political boundaries. The Northeastern people, we happen to be living in such a difficult terrain that our lands, our belongings, our traditional belongings happens to crisscross the states. Our Holiram will know that Nagaland has problem with Assam. Assam has problem with Nagaland. Mizoram, Meghalaya and Assam has a land problem, because our lands are such that we crisscross even the state political boundaries. Fortunately, Conrad and Hemanta had signed an agreement that we will have peace. Maybe this is your initiative. It's a very good step that has come about. So now this TPO has to come into play, and for the last 6 years, we have set up a committee to adjudicate this case, to settle this case. And for the last 6 years, we have had so many agreements, so many restrictions being given, so many directives being given to all the 3 parties, the 3 contending parties, to settle this disputed area. In the process of this, we have tried our best to settle the case. However, there has been hindrance from here and there. Now the latest, why we have gone to the Bandh, is that the TPO has written 3 different letters to Chief Minister of Manipur not to involve in this disputed area, because it belongs to the indigenous people of that particular area. It belongs to our people only. And you are all aware that in Article 371C, I guess, in Manipur, we have the tribal's right over land. So it belongs to our people only. It belongs to the people only. It doesn't belong to the government of Manipur. So we have been appealing, making appeal after appeal to Manipur government. The latest was on 3rd November 2021. We have served a letter that Manipur government should not come into play, because this has to be decided by the local people, the Tenyimye people. In spite of that, they have come and constructed police barracks. They have deployed police personnel guarding the area. Now, when we say this is under dispute, And if somebody comes and try to grab it, or if somebody forcefully come and staying there, we were pushed into a corner. We have been forced to go for this ban. In fact, we do not want to go for this ban because, as per your appeal, we want to live peacefully and harmoniously. But we were pushed into a corner whereby we had no options. Therefore, today, this ban has been called. It is the 10th day of the ban today. Maybe your appeal we will surely forward to our people. Your appeal will be take up in our meeting. We want to thank you for making this appeal.
At least smile to Kovido. Everybody is frowning.
24th of March. So can you highlight us a little bit more on that?
The Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum with the Nagaland chapter, Nagaland Indigenous Peoples Forum, we have come to Kigwema to make a fervent appeal considering the human sufferings throughout the northeastern region. We will be traveling to different parts of the northeastern region for a harmonious coexistence. And considering the geographical terrain and the nature, where even a small landslide can disconnect the village from the rest of the world, we are making an appeal to all the communities in this region to minimize human suffering from the humanitarian point of view. So we have come here all together, considering the interdependence, socio-economic interdependence of all the small communities in this region. The Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum, we have come here to make an appeal. If there is any other way, any other means to minimize the suffering of the people of this region, that is the main purpose why we have come together to share our concerns with the people of the South Ngami People's Organization.
What is the appeal made by the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum?
We are indeed very delighted. We are very happy that the President of the Sapo and the entire community here, the village authority, the youth, they have welcomed us and they have listened to us with great patience. And they said that they will take it to the highest forum of the community and they will share our concerns and the feelings that we have expressed. And they said that throughout the northeastern region, they also endorsed the human sufferings if in case there are hindrances on the communication system. We are very happy that they have endorsed and they have accepted our appeal.
Well, the issue of this indefinite ban is regarding that they have stated it to be a traditional issue and not a border dispute, basically. So, will the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum also appeal to the Maram and the Mau community and apprise them of the meeting that you had with the Sapo?
As I mentioned, considering the geographical terrain of the entire northeastern region, of the interdependence between different communities, we have had already planned a national conference of the indigenous people, which will be hosted by Nagaland indigenous peoples in Dimapur. We had planned this in the month of January. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic standard operating procedures under the protocol, we had to postpone. The program which we have scheduled in the month of January, we will be having it on 29th and 30th of April. And one of the agenda is the interstate border issues and such similar issues between the communities. So we have invited representatives from different communities and different states, including we have invited the Adivasi Bharat Mahasabha to understand the tribal ethos and different traditions of the land and the people. So we were to discuss the issue in our national conference. And I'm sure that with the participation of different communities from the entire country, and in fact specifically from the northeastern region, we would be understanding the issues concerning our own people. So I would like to appeal to different communities to actively participate in the forthcoming national conference of indigenous people, which would be on 30th of April which would be held in Dimapur, and that is being hosted by Nagaland Indigenous Peoples Forum, which is the Nagaland chapter of the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Forum.
Our Northeast Indigenous People Forum, where always there where there's a conflict area. So this year, this is the second visit to our Sapo conflict area. We've been to Oting also to show our solidarity and our concern to our Korean brothers and sisters. So this year we've been to Oting, and this is the second time we've come here. In fact, today, after meeting with the Sapo officials, we thought of going to I think we got an information that today they're having a general meeting, public meeting. So maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll go and we'll also keep the concern of our people here so that we settle the things amicably and peacefully and live in peace and tranquility among all the indigenous people. In fact, when we proposed the January meeting, we had invited our Honorable Chief Minister from Nagaland, Neipf, and our Honorable Minister from Assam, Atul Bora, because this issue was not there at that time. But the main issue was with the Nagaland border issue with Assam. So we wanted that our two VIBs from the two states will coordinate with them, will discuss with them, and try to solve something at least during these 2 days of conference. But because of pandemic, SOB, we cancelled. But next month on 29 and 30th, CM cannot come, our Honorable Chief Minister, but Mr. Timjan M. Nalong, Travel Minister, is coming, and second day, Mr. Atul Bora is coming. So hopefully our forum is praying, hopefully that something positive will come out of this conference and between the two leaders. And we will give the full support to both the leaders to bring the peace and tranquility in our Northeast Indigenous area, covering 7 states.